Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We have to do two surahs of the Quran. Surah number 110, Surah Al-Lahab, and Surah al-ikhlaas. We write it in two ways, Surah Al-Lahab and al-ikhlaas, or simply Lahab or Islahi. These are Surah number 111 and 112 of the Quran. I have been talking about the fact that the entire Quran, the way it has been designed and organized, sequenced by the Almighty, there is a definite reason behind it. And we can find additional meanings which are there. If you look at the way the Almighty has decided that certain surahs are going to come before certain other surahs, and they've all been arranged, I've been mentioning it over and over again, in a way that they all form 7 surah groups, such that each group begins with one or more Meccan surahs and ends with one or more Madaran surahs. Now, we have reached the climax, the very end of the last group of surahs. I will just briefly mention that we started from Surah Al-Asr and Al-Humaza, which are 103, 104 surah. Then we did Surah Fil and Surah Quraysh, which is Surah 105 and Surah number 106. These two surahs, and mind you, all these are in pairs, one pair, the other pair. And then we reach Surah Al-Ma'un and Al-Kawthar. 107 and 108. Then the last time we did Surah Al-Kafirun and Surah An-Nasr. Surah 109 and 110. We therefore have done as yet 5 surah pairs, and each pair has been designed in a way that the 2 surahs appearing in the pair are giving meanings which, when put together, give you an idea of a bigger picture, deeper meanings. So here we knew that the Almighty mentions the fact that all these people who are being provided with the Almighty's message are doomed, except those who believe properly. And here, those who were doomed, their character has been mentioned. Surah Fil, the Almighty is telling these very people who were doomed that they are going to be doomed, not because of the fact that they're accidentally passed on the wrong side of the divine. The fact of the matter is that they saw the sign of the Almighty in that the house of God was being attacked by a tyrant military ruler, and despite the fact that he had a large army, it was a very feeble, weak resistance that enabled the house to be protected. And then the same people who witnessed this incident, or their elders, they have been informed, they have been told that, because of this house, you are enjoying such facilities which people in the surrounding can't even imagine of. You travel and your traveling caravans are protected. This provides you with trade. This provides you with security. And with trade, you have food. Whereas there is hunger, famine in your surrounding. There is insecurity in your surrounding. So the people of Quraysh, the people of the tribe of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they are informed that, look here, these blessings of the Almighty, they require you to expect you to worship the Lord of the house that has been able to provide you with such protection. And then the next two surahs, first Surah Al-Ba'un mentions the character of the entire leadership of Quraysh in general, and one person in particular who has become very prominent in a later surah, that these people who are custodians of the house of God, it becomes so mean. They have degenerated so much that they push the orphans instead of helping them out, instead of protecting them. And they pray, but their prayer is show off, is show people. And it's devoid of the true spirit. And when they are asked to help out somebody, even a small item of very little value, they refuse. This is their character. How can they be eligible to protect this house? How can they continue to enjoy the status of the people who are the custodians of the house of God? Therefore, O Prophet, we have given you this house. Al-Kawthar, the place where there is abundance of khair. Abundance of khair. This abundant khair is actually the house of God, whose, call it, spiritual extension is going to be witnessed on the day of judgment in the form of a pond that is going to be called Al-Kawthar. But that is going to be the reflection of this house, where people go from different parts of the world to worship the Almighty, and this worship of the Almighty and its remembrance enables them to be able to get the kind of blessings whose physical manifestation is what people are going to enjoy in the next life. And then after this is declared, they are going to be now deprived of this house. And the Prophet ﷺ is going to get the responsibility of taking care of the house, he and his companion. The next surah says that these people are now gone, they're doomed. You, O Prophet, have worshipped your God, they are worshipping other gods. There has neither been in the past any similarity between the two of you in your way of worshipping, in your beliefs, and there's neither any possibility that's going to happen in the future. Therefore, their destruction, their doom is given. So when you find that God's help comes and the victory, which is promised, it's going to be through God's help and victory that you are going to ultimately be able to get God's help and victory. When it happens, You seek the forgiveness of the Almighty and, uh, and praise Him. He is the one who is accepting repentance. Okay. There was an occasion that we didn't have the file. Okay. Yeah, I think there's no message. I think all is good. Right. So now we reach the surahs of today. Surah Al-Lahab and Surah al-Ikhlaas. As I said, these two surahs are, in a way, the climax of the last book, the climax of the Quran. You see, the Quran all along has been telling us that the Almighty sent His messengers to different nations. The messengers, whenever they would come, they would deliver the Almighty's message. Sometimes this whole process would take a very long time, like in the case of Nuh alayhi salam. Sometimes it would take a shorter, lesser time, like in the case of the last prophet, 22, 23 years. It's not a very long time. But the important thing is that the message is delivered so very clearly that there remains no doubt in the minds of the people who are delivered the message that it is from God, and yet they reject it. Yet they reject it. Why? Let me take some rest and enjoy your answers. Why do they reject? Yeah.
Arrogance against the people presenting the message.
Okay. Arrogance is one. Fine. Agreed. Any other? Arrogance.
You will repeat the question.
Why did the people who were addressed with the message of the Almighty through His messengers, despite the message being so clear that there was no possibility of doubt in the minds of people who were being presented, and yet they rejected? He says because of arrogance.
Because the message is delivered by humans, and if it was truly a message from the Almighty, from God, right, they would want maybe an angel, for example. An angel would be better perceived as, oh, this is actually a divine message, rather than we think anybody could have claimed to be a prophet.
Your comments.
Because they chose to blindly follow their forefathers without questioning anything.
Right? It's fine. My understanding is that if you look at it, these are the answers which are all talking about the same fact in different ways. They were arrogant. They thought they were superior. And why should they listen to somebody they thought was inferior? They wanted angels to come down. And they didn't want to accept it from a human being. It was their arrogance. Why should we accept the message from a person like us? So, again, arrogance. They blindly followed their forefathers. This was actually arrogance of another kind. That is, they said, why should we accept you as telling the truth? Are you superior than our forefathers, elders? We believe what they believe. We trust them. What you're saying, therefore, we're not even going to listen to you. So you see, when you are arrogant, you look down upon others as inferiors. When that is what happens, then your mind becomes incapable of listening to the view, to the understanding properly. It is biased, it's colored. The other contributing factor to them rejecting the truth was that they went after their evil-based desires. You know, they wanted to have more and more wealth. They wanted to enjoy the life that was there before them with all its possibilities. And this added to their arrogance. So, when you become stubborn, there is a reason. You don't want to listen to something. It's either because, your elders, uh, you think, are the only ones who should be listened to. They should be followed. And the end result is that the truth that you are receiving, the truth that is being presented, you're not even interested. You don't want to accept it. So that is what happened. Now, in these two surahs that we are going to do today, Surah Al-Lahab and Surah Al-Ikhlaas, as I said, it is the climax. How? There is a verse in the Quran in the 17th chapter that says, قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلُ. Tell them that the truth has arrived and the untruth has disappeared. These two elements of a phenomenon, they are kind of simultaneous. They are interdependent, one leading to the other. You see, when the truth will come, untruth will disappear. The truth of the message of Allah came and the untruth disappeared. What I mentioned is what we find here in the surahs that we're going to do today, with just one difference. The truth has arrived and the untruth has disappeared. This is what we will find in these two surahs, brief surahs, but just with one difference. What is that? What is that difference? The difference is the sequence. In these two surahs, the untruth is going to disappear comes first, and the truth has arrived is mentioned later. Right? That's the difference. That is something you will find in the Quran. The same facts are mentioned in different ways, so that they get deeply entrenched. You are able to digest them, internalize them. You read them, understand them in different ways, to different angles. And, it becomes a part of the process of your thinking, your approach towards understanding the truth. So let's look at the first of these two surahs, Surah Al-Lahab. It begins by saying, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim." But Yada Abi Lahabin Watab. Yadun is hand, one hand. Two hands is Yadane. In Arabic, when you say something two, Rajulun, one man. Two men, Rajulani. Right? Baitun, a house. Baitani, two houses. By the way, you must learn Arabic as well. Quranic Arabic. Well, you start understanding the Quran directly through its Arabic. Wow, brilliant. So, I just out of this world. You will start coming to the Fajr prayer because you'll be eager that you must listen to the Quran directly. So, Tabbat, broke. Yadani. You might ask, where is the noon of Yadani? Well, that's something you'll understand if you start studying Arabic. The fee for this lecture is too small for me to be able to explain why noon has disappeared. Right? So two hands. Broke, two hands. Abi Lahab. of Al-Lahab. Watab. And he was destroyed too. Or he too was destroyed. Any questions? Any problem? No question. No problem. Yeah.
Who broke his hands and in what sense were they broken?
What sense they were broken? And even if they were broken, so first the hands were broken and then he got killed. Is it that we are being informed that it so happened that come on, Trish, his two hands were destroyed. And then he too was destroyed. Is that what is being given to understand? No. In Arabic, like in our languages as well, other languages too, you sometimes, when you say the two hands or expressions similar to it, you actually mean your support, your following, people with you. So Abu Lahab was the leader. He had a clan. He had a following. He had a support. He had companions. They got destroyed. And he too. He too. It's all past. Are you getting me? It's all mentioned in the past. Abu Lahab's two hands, Abu Lahab's companions, they got destroyed. But Tab, and he too. It's in the past. And it's a Meccan surah. It's talking about something that is going to happen in the future. What is this? Something that has not happened is mentioned in the past tense. I mean, it should have clearly said, like it said here, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ, when God's help comes. That's in the future. But it said, destroyed. Why? Why? You will find in the Quran quite often that certain realities that were to appear in the future have been described in the past tense to mention the certainty of them happening, to express the understanding that what is being mentioned is as if it had already happened. It is so certain, done in the plans of the Almighty, is done. It's only a matter of time, right? That is what the Quran mentions sometimes about the life hereafter as well. It's done. They have been consigned to the hell. That is, it's just going to happen. The decision has been taken. So here this first verse says that the two hands of Abu Lahab broke, and he was destroyed too. Right? That's the first verse. This is what? This is a prophecy. The Almighty is mentioning something which was to happen in the future. He has prophesied that these people, the leaders of Quraysh, strong people who are ridiculing and rejecting our messenger and his companions, they're doomed. Same thing that we mentioned here. Al-Asr, innal insana lafi khusr. What is the proof? Proof is the time. The stories of the earlier messengers. When Pharaoh was drowned, when he opposed Musa alayhi salam, why would not the Pharaoh of the present times, Abu Lahab, not be destroyed? The means are going to be different, but the end is going to be the same. Right? That's the first point. Ma Agna. Ma Agna. Anhu. Ma Agna Anhu means it did not help him. It did not avail him. What? Something that is going to come later. It did not help him. What did not help him? Money. This is what you know. His wealth. His wealth did not help him. Wama kasab. Wama kasab. And what he earned. You see what the Quran does is that if you care to read it carefully, to begin with, you will be confused. Probably some people might be disappointed. What's going on? And is it not an unnecessary repetition? That his wealth did not come to his rescue, nor what he earned. I mean, what did he earn? Wealth. That has been already said. So why is it coming again? Isn't it? You all have Surah Al-Lahab in your memory. Have you ever thought of it? Why is the same thing mentioned again? Why? It's because they're not the same. It's because they're not the same. You know, in the Quran, what you earn doesn't mean wealth. It means your deeds, good deeds, the deeds that are going to be converted into wealth, currency in the next life. The Almighty says what you earn, in your understanding, what you earn in this life is not an earning. It's not an earning. It is actually God's bounty that you search for. Have you ever imagined? Have you ever thought about the fact? I'm asking you a serious question. Have you ever thought about the fact that there are some people who are filthy rich? And when you meet them, you find them not extraordinary. And there are some people who are outstanding, brilliant, and they're hardly anything who were dependent on. Well, obviously, there's something to it which has to do with the efforts and planning of humans, but that actually is playing a very small role. It is Allah who enables some people to get opportunities which are not available to others. So you search for the bounties of the Almighty. You don't earn. What you earn is only one thing, your deeds. Those are yours. Those are yours. You cannot be forced to do good deeds. Well, you might say that we are forced. I mean, we have been forced to come to this class. So, we've been forced. No, sorry. If you have been forced to come to this class, is it not your good deed at all? It is at least zero, if not negative. Good deeds are what you intend, and then you do them properly, right? So, you might ask, what do you mean? What do you mean? Did Abu Lahab do good deeds? Well, yes. Where is it mentioned? Here. He used to say prayers. He was the custodian of the house of God. He was in charge of the most important department of the house of God, which was meant to take care of the people who came there for pilgrimage. So he would say prayers, he would help out the poor, feed them, and this apparently to him were the good deeds that are going to come to his rescue on the day of judgment. Allah said, Ma agna anhu maluhu. His wealth did not come to his rescue, nor what he earned. That is not the good deeds, apparent good deeds that he, right? That is the second verse. So this is what is going to happen in this life. Very soon, This is very soon. He will be thrown, consigned to Maran, fire. Zata Lahab. Zata is comprising of, consisting of. He is Zul Mal. He is the one who has Mal. Possesses Mal, wealth, right? So Zata Lahab is going to be thrown, consigned to a fire of flames, right? This particular word, Lahab, flame, is in particular very significant. Why? Why is it significant? Sayasla Naran Zata Lahab, he will be consigned to a fire which will comprise of flames, Zata Lahab. Why is this word Lahab in the context of this surah significant? Because Abu Lahab is called Abu Lahab. His name was Abdul Uzza, but he was called Abu Lahab because his face and cheeks were white, reddish white, like flame. And that is why he was called Abu Lahab. You know, that is the name that he was known by because of his impressive appearance. That man is going to be thrown into a fire of flames. Right? وَامْرَأْتُهُ. وَامْرَأْتُهُ. Who is he? It's a pronoun. His. Imran, wife. Wamratu, as well as his wife, the first lady. She used to be alongside him all throughout his evil career. In the evil deeds that he did, he was always an accomplice. In fact, sometimes, as happens in the case of many families, that the wife demands from her husband wealth, jewelry, house, cars. The husband doesn't have the means. So what does he do? Indulges in getting wealth illegitimately. So his wife was quite as evil as he was. So she is going to have the same fate. You would normally find the translation of this particular part of the verse suggesting that Ammanat al-Hatab is describing his wife, the bearer of fuel. No, that translation is not possible because of this fatha, zabar. Had it been zamma, pesh, then the translation was right. That this is describing this lady, who she was. But here it means, and his wife is going to be carrying her own fuel. That is, when she will be thrown in the fire, she'll be carrying her own fuel, which is going to add to the intensity of fire. Which really means that it's going to be her own misdeeds that are going to cause her to burn. In her neck, hablum, going to be rope, min masad, from the trunk of the date tree. So, The slave girls used to have those ropes which they would use to be able to carry the load of wood of fuel on their heads. And this lady, first lady, would give them instructions, orders, arrogantly. And she herself would have impressive, heavy golden necklace in her neck. On the day of judgment, the tables are going to be turned. And she, because of her ill nothing wrong with having jewelry, provided if it's earned through legitimate means, provided you spend on others to pay the zakat as well, and you are humble. But if the same wealth causes you to become arrogant, you see, why do people become arrogant? One reason is wealth. But I'm a rich man. Who the hell are you? These people, an attitude. So that is what his attitude was. He thought that Prophet Muhammad was a poor man compared to. That caused him to not accept the Almighty's message. That caused his undoing, right? His wife too was a part of it, part of this process, unfortunate rejection of the message. And as a result, she is going to be meeting the same fate, right? This is what I call Zahat al-Batil. Quran says very clearly that Batil is going. And what is coming? Jal Haq is coming. The only thing that I want to clarify is that not long afterwards, in a matter of 2 to 3 years, this prediction, prophecy came true word by word. In actual fact, in the same sequence, first, his companions, they all got destroyed in the Battle of Badr. And then he too himself got destroyed. He was a coward man. So he did not go to the Battle of Badr fearing that he might get killed. But it was important that all leaders of Quraysh go. They go. And he instead sent somebody who was, given money to represent him. So he didn't go. So the end result was that he obviously was spared from being killed in the Battle of Badr. But very soon, in the very next week, he had a disease which killed him. And the way he died, his own family members, his sons, they felt that the manner his body has decayed, we should not touch it. So they left the body there where it died, where he died. And then after a few days, and it started smelling foul, they hired the services of a few slaves who picked his body and threw it. That was his fate. So that is Surah Al-Lahab. It's actually the description, same description as was the description of the drowning of Pharaoh, and other descriptions of the destruction of the enemies of the messenger. The details are different, but the result is the same. That is what the Quran keeps saying over and over again. Now, Jal Haq. What was the religious understanding that these people were opposing? They were opposing the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yes. But what did the Prophet bring? He brought the message of Tawheed, the unity of Allah, one God. He is to be prayed. Nobody else is to be prayed to. These people were praying to false gods, false deities. Why? Because they said that our forefathers uh, they worship them. And we are following their footsteps. So when the entire group of people who were following a wrong creed, wrong understanding, they were declared as deserving to be killed, in came the Surah. قل هو الله أحد. قل, say, declare, proclaim, as in an earlier surah, the Quran says, قل يا أيها الكافرون. So say to them, tell them, declare that Allah is unique. Allah is one. No, that's not the concept. Allah is one. Yes, He is unique. Allah is the one who, in His being, has no partner. He is unique. You know, have you ever thought of this world and its creation? There has to be somebody. There has to be somebody who created this world and who himself was not created. Has to be one unique being that has no partners, has no rivals. Nobody is like him. That is Allah. Right? So tell them, Allah Ahad. Allah is unique. Allah is that one who is the creator in a way that He Himself has been there forever since. Our words, our language falls short of describing it. There was nobody before Him. He has been there ever since. I think it's a good word, ever since. But honestly, our mind stops functioning. He was not created by Him. For Allah, He is unique. Allah Samad. Now, when you say He's unique, it creates a problem. That, great. He's high. He's big. He's extraordinary. Unimaginable. Amazing. The end result is that there is an impression in the mind that gets created. He is unapproachable. He's unique. So you can't approach him. That is why people indulge in shirk. Ascribing partners. It's great. I am too ordinary, a mortal, to be able to imagine that I can approach God. I can contact Him. So let me approach somebody who is great compared to me and is good enough to be able to approach God. I'm going to approach Him. That is what gives way to shirk. That is why people ascribe partners with God. So the Almighty mentions, although He is unique, Allah Samad. He is the one who is the support of everyone. He is the support of everyone. Samad, it is said, is a rock behind which everyone takes protection. So Allah is the one who, although is unique, He is the one who protects everybody, supports everyone. All that He has created is continuing to survive because of the support that He's providing. And He is so unique that Lam Yalid. He did not give birth to anyone. He is neither the father of anyone. Walam yulad, nor is he the son of anyone, nor was he born to anyone. So he is neither the father nor the son. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. So he is unique. He is someone who is different from everyone. So shirk, ascribing partners with God, was done by people either by seeking protection and help from others, beings, deities, false gods other than Allah. So he says, Allah Samad. He's the one who protects, provides. And some other people, they ascribe partners with God, with Allah, by imagining, by claiming that he has children, like Christians do, some, like the polytheists of Makkah did, daughters. Or Alam he was born to somebody. Again, the same understanding as Christians sometimes say, Jesus is the son and the father. No, there's no chance. He is neither the father of anyone nor anyone's son. Because this whole process of father, son, creator, created, it stems from the idea that, well, you can't understand. How can you understand this entire creation? Because obviously, somebody who created it had to himself be created as well. Quran says no. He's unique. He is someone who did not need any creator. He was not born to anyone, nor anyone was born to. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ. And there is لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ, who is his كُفُوًا. Kufu. You know what is kufu? Ahmed. Same level of the same status like him. There's none who has the same status, who can be described as at par with God. Nobody. You can't imagine anyone coming anywhere near to the Almighty, either in whether it's in his physical being or his attributes. So this is actually the final surah of the Quran. You might say that, well, this is not the final surah. There are two surahs more. Yes, there are two surahs. But those surahs have been revealed to make sure that now that we have completed the message of the Quran, we should get two security guards strong from the Almighty for us to always resort to them, seek help through them from God, to be protected against the attacks of Shaitan, Satan, who would always want to undo our understanding. So, in these last two surahs of the Quran, the Almighty is describing the ultimate fate of the people who rejected the message of the Almighty that came to them through his messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And after having described their fate, which was to happen later, but it was predicted, prophesied. uh, the all-important message of Surah al-Ikhlaas, of Tawheed, of oneness of God, is mentioned. And the way it is mentioned, it really is very brief, but is comprehensive. In very few words, what has been described is actually taking in its scope all that could be said about God. You know, he is unique, nobody's like him, but he is with everyone, helping them, protecting them. And there's no family member of him, and nobody like him, similar to him. So worship him, thank him. Don't try to imagine his physical presence. It's out of your possibility of imagination. Just be in touch with him, remember him, and do not allow your understanding of him to be influenced by the polytheistic understanding, imagination of those who is right partner. So that finishes, as I said, the basic message of the Quran. Next two surahs that we will hopefully do next week, next Wednesday, are the surahs which are in the form of prayers, du'as. We seek help from the Almighty after having the privilege of getting the message of the Almighty. Not just getting the message, getting the confirmation from the Almighty that this message was delivered and succeeded in getting the Almighty's will implemented. Now it's with you for you to read and recite it for as long as you can. I've been mentioning it over and over again that the Quran is, what is it? What is the Quran? It's the story of the messengers. What? Story of the messengers? Exam. Warning. All throughout the Quran, this is what you read. So, people ask, honestly, it's a challenge because people are used to stories. They find the Quran boring. I'm telling you, Muslims find the Quran utterly boring. Why? Because they don't have the taste for it. Why? Because they're used to stories. Which stories? Stories that are not confirmed. So no confirmation that they are true. But they are presented so confidently. They are presented in a way that people feel that they are watching it. And the end result is that the real presentation, it doesn't appeal to you. Just doesn't appeal to you. So what is the solution then? The solution is, I'm talking about the people who read the Quran. The solution is that they say that the Quran is a brilliant, amazing book. We can't understand it. But we must read it. You know why? Get swab. To get reward. To get barakah. So people go, and I've seen people, crying, listening to stories. There was a gentleman who said his Asad prayer. We led the prayer, and we were doing that prayer behind him. At the end of the prayer, he turned his face towards us, and he was a historian. He started crying, started weeping. Something came to his mind, and he wept. And then he said to us, when I read the story of Hajra, alayhi salam, the way she moved from Safa to Marwa and Marwa to Safa 7 times, when her child Ismail was crying for water, desperate. I feel so bad. He was crying. I spoke to a friend sitting next to me, which was bad. It was bad. When somebody is speaking to you, you're not supposed to talk to each other. So I spoke to him the way you two were speaking to each other, just politely. I said to him, look here, he's crying over the fact that Hajara alayhi salam was running to and fro from Safa to Marwa and Marwa to Safa. What is a bigger reason to cry is that this story is wrong. It never happened. It didn't happen. Now you might be around. What I'm telling you is, stories are concocted. If I tell you the passage in the Quran, which if you read carefully, Muslims are not interested in the Quran, you would find that this story doesn't fit in. What I'm saying is that the Quran is the word of God. It is inviting Muslims to understand it with deep reflection, its meanings, and then form their religious opinions, their religious approach on the basis of that understanding. But they're not interested. Why? Because they're interested in stories. Which stories? Many of which never took place. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. It's like, somebody tells you that in order to lead our lives, let's start watching movies and dramas. Well, okay, I mean, watching movies and dramas sometimes is okay. It's a recreation. But if you start believing that what's there, it really means that you don't even realize. It's all concocted. There is a producer, there is a director, there are actors, there is a script writer, and you are imagining that it all happened. Nothing happened. This is what happened. This is the reality, the message of the Almighty. Each word is from God. Each word is protected. Not just words, but their sequence as well. But honestly, as I said, the last 2 surahs that we are going to read, inshallah, are meant to seek the Almighty's help for us to be protected against Shaitan's onslaughts, to stop us from reading and understanding the Quran. Because he's going to try his best. What I'm saying is that, unfortunately, he has been successful. But because reading and understanding of the Quran is not what Muslims are interested in. They are interested in stories. Stories excite you. One event and the next event. Here, what the Almighty has done is just briefly mention Surah, the Battle of Badr. Here, mentioned they're going to be destroyed. Finished. That's what the Almighty is interested in telling. They're going to be destroyed. Why? Because He wants you to understand it. You're reading it over and over again. Each time you read, you understand. This is what actually happened. And this is what He has described for us to be able to learn lessons. What lessons? That is what you must ask. That is what the Quran wants us to do, to reflect. What lessons? Al-Lahab was destroyed, finished. No, they're deep lessons. They're not our masjids, Adhan, but let it be our masjid, Adhan. Let this particular statement, last statement. So, inshallah, we will do the last 2 surahs the next session. Assalamu alaikum.